Today, I will focus on the phrase, primarily Deuteronomy chapter 24 to 1 through verse 4. The Gospel of Matthew, the Gospel of Mark, and the Gospel of Luke of the New Testament contain the arguments between Jesus and Pharisees over this word. Pharisees ask Jesus about divorce issues in Deuteronomy chapter 24, verses 1 to 4. The following are Deuteronomy chapters 24 verses from 1 to 4. If a man marries a woman who becomes displeasing to him because he finds something indecent about her, writes her a certificate of divorce, gives it to her, and sends her from his house, and if after she leaves his home, she becomes the wife of another man. Her second husband dislikes her and writes her a certificate of divorce, gives it to her, and sends her from his house, or if he dies, her first husband, who divorced her, is not allowed to marry her again after she has been defiled. That would be detestable in the eyes of the Lord. Do not bring sin upon the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance. The following 3 points can be inferred from these 4 verses, says J. E. Adams. First, chapter 24 of the Constitution recognizes the legal process of identifying and regulating divorce as simply existing. Second, chapter 24 of Comitology does not institutionalize divorce. I don't allow divorce for reasons other than adultery. Third, chapter 24 of Comitology does not encourage divorce to be made easier. The whole point of the passage was to prevent a hasty divorce by making it clear that remarrying someone else after the divorce would be an irreversible situation. Therefore, Deuteronomy chapter 24 verses 1 to 4 are intended to acknowledge divorce but regulate it. Moses tried to prevent indiscriminate divorce and remarriage in the neighboring religions. This is the emphasis that this says. You can't marry your ex-husband again after your wife remarries. The Bible says she should not remarry her first husband because her second marriage has already defiled her. The important thing here is that my wife was tainted by a second marriage, not a second divorce. Even if the wife was free from her second husband due to death, not divorce, she could not reunite with her first husband because my wife is already dirty. My wife says she is dirty because she broke her marriage vows rather than having sex with a second man. Her second marriage and sexual intercourse tainted the wife through a guilty divorce. The second marriage was also a sin because the divorce was made for unjustifiable reasons. Jesus says this in the New Testament. When Jesus told his divorced wife that he had committed adultery, Jesus spoke of a divorced and remarried wife like the wife in Deuteronomy chapter 24. Jesus said that if there is any other reason for adultery, like the wife in chapter 24, if the wife is divorced if the wife marries another man, she committed adultery through a divorce. Jesus tried to correct Pharisees' misconception about divorce. Jesus' teaching did not interpret the Old Testament differently but made the Old Testament clearer. By comparison, Pharisees were focusing on something completely different. They were not interested in God's will, they were only interested in profit. We are now learning what the Bible says about marriage, divorce, and remarriage. If you know marriage, you can understand divorce better. On the other hand, understanding divorce can help you understand marriage better. There is one thing that the prophet of the Old Testament or Jesus of the New Testament wanted. God's child cherished and wanted to keep his marriage covenant. Hebrews chapter 13 verse 4 says the following. Marriage should be honored by all, and the marriage bed kept pure, for God will judge the adulterer and all the sexually immoral. If today's content was beneficial, please subscribe, thumbs up, share, and comment.